stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a Keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. They may look.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, how are you doing on this fantastic morning? Today's Wednesday, July the 7th of 2021, day 188th of the year, and only 177 days remaining before it's all over with. Anyways, hopefully everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, wherever the hell you're hanging out, as we are doing the things that we do on this lovely morning. So hopefully you're staying dry. That's the important part. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse that we call Safety FM, just in case if you did not know. And we're also hanging out with the people that we hang out with on that other side. You know, that sister station thing.
You're in the big mix.
Yeah, we're in the big mix of what? Okay, thanks for the specifications there, because I was definitely totally lost on what was going on for half a second. So there you go. That is what's happening. Thanks for listening. Bye. No, I'm kidding. So, yes, it is raining hard inside of in the general area where we're located, but I told you regardless of what the hell happened, we would be here one way, shape, or form, even if it ended up being in a pre-record. But we're live. You see, if you're looking on the screener, is it going to come on? It is live. It's about as live as it gets. It is 3 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's start talking about the things that are going on according to the trends of the news. So we'll start talking about that real quick. Let's talk about the top 5 fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestseller list. So if we're going to go from the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom, in the fiction category, we meet people. People we meet on vacation. And that's the fiction category. At number 4, Where the Crawdads Sing. At number 3, Malibu Rising. At number 2, The President's Daughter. And at number 1, The Last Thing He Told Me. In the nonfiction category, here we go. Untamed. Number 4, Green Lights. Number 3, The Bomber Mafia. At number 2, Killing the Mob. And at the number 1 spot, The Body Keeps the Score. So there you go. That's what's exactly going on inside of the world here. So that's what we're talking about this morning. Anyway, so I don't know. A lot of stuff going on this morning. We'll talk about the swap shop. It'll make sense later on, hopefully. We'll talk about those things and all that kind of fun stuff. But as we do get you moving and grooving first thing in this morning, let's start talking to our friends at the feature of the story of the news. So let's bring them in and see what they have to say. So here you go.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Sydney's extended its COVID-19 lockdown for another week due to an outbreak of the Delta variant. Around 330 cases have now been identified, with clusters being found after some people who were infected left home to get essentials. Sean Bindley reports from Brisbane.
Australia's vaccine rollout continues to struggle with supply problems and the reluctance of a percentage of the population to get the jab. It's believed Qantas is planning on offering frequent flyer points to people who are inoculated, and other business leaders are considering similar schemes. Federal Treasurer Josh Frydenberg says such corporate assistance will be invaluable in turbocharging Australia's COVID vaccine rates.
With more supply coming online, the role of the business community will be even more important in working with us to ensure the vaccine rollout proceeds smoothly and effectively.
In Brisbane, I'm Sean Bindley.
As the government prepares to fully roll back COVID-19 restrictions in England, German officials say they have no intentions of following a similar path. The country's health ministers told German radio mask mandates will remain in place for months. From Berlin, Trent Murray.
Germany's Health Minister Jens Spahn said he believes that wearing masks will remain compulsory in Germany in the coming autumn and winter months, particularly in indoor public spaces. Speaking to broadcaster ARD Wednesday, he said that it was, quote, very clear that masks would be needed in situations where groups of people gather indoors together. He added that in his view, compared to other types of restrictions, wearing a mask remains relatively harmless. He also noted that other measures like maintaining distance, hand hygiene and regular ventilation would continue to play a key role in helping Germany keep COVID cases low. He stressed, though, that if people want to return to parties and large events together, the best way is to continue pushing for high vaccine numbers. Trent Murray, Berlin.
New York State has declared a disaster emergency order over rising gun violence. There were 51 shootings in the state over the 4th of July holiday weekend. A Dutch crime journalist is fighting for his life after being shot in Amsterdam. Peter R. de Vries had been in a TV studio for a regular TV appearance before being targeted. A place in the Euro 2020 final against Italy is at stake as England prepare to face Denmark at Wembley. Victory for England would mean a spot in a major men's tournament final for the first time since 1966. There will be 60,000 fans inside Wembley for the match. England defender Harry Maguire says Denmark will be a tough test.
They've proven now for years that they're a top team. I think they're the highest ranked team that would have played in this competition. So we know that they're a strong team with great leaders in the team, great experience. So we know it's going to be a tough game, but we're really focused on ourselves.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Around the world, the future of work is under the microscope after so many people had their working lives so altered by the COVID-19 pandemic. And by chance, this week, a new report is out on an intriguing experiment in Iceland. From 2015 till this year, 2,000 public sector workers there across a wide range of fields were allowed to work a 4-day week for the same pay that they used to receive for 5 days. And a new study says the experiment not only improved the work-life balance of the employees, it had no meaningful negative impact on productivity. Jack Kellum is a researcher at Autonomy and co-author of the report on the project.
This is, I think, a unique trial in the sheer size and range of the data that's been accumulated and the experience involved. Given the diversity of workplaces involved, the researchers from a number of teams in Iceland used both quantitative data, so outputs from specific workplaces, but also qualitative data like interviews. And even across this diversity of workplaces and not just administrative work, you can implement shorter working weeks effectively and see the really powerful impacts they can have.
4-day weeks are being road tested right now by some companies in Spain and New Zealand. Participants in the Iceland trial say they could exercise and socialise more, which in turn improved their work performance. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Sydney's extended its COVID-19 lockdown for another week due to an outbreak of the Delta variant. A Dutch crime journalist is fighting for his life after being shot in Amsterdam. As the government prepares to fully roll back COVID restrictions in England, German officials say they have no intentions of following a similar path. And a place in the Euro 2020 final against Italy is at stake as England prepare to face Denmark at Wembley. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Had no idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
Was the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, so there you go. A lot of things going on. First thing of this morning, we are 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing the things that we do together. So what do you got going on today? Anything exciting or anything of that along those lines? I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. Just curious. Come on, man. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on inside of the world of the news. Tropical storm Elsa, not the let it go type of thing. That one. Tropical storm Elsa has gained some steam in the Gulf of Mexico Tuesday afternoon, and it is headed towards Tampa. It is expected to spend the week working its way through the East Coast as wind speeds slowly dissipate. So there you go. So I'm actually on the East Coast, and we talk about that all the freaking time. It feels like we know that. But with that being said, band area. So it'll be interesting to see the updates as we go across and all that kind of fun stuff. What I always tell people, it's interesting if you come and spend part of the summer in Florida. Because it's like, hey, you're coming to the Sunshine State. That's not so sunny. Yeah, welcome to the time of the year that it is. Anyways, let's start talking real quick. You heard about this one, we'll continue talking about it. Journalist Nicole Hannah-Jones was at the center of controversy earlier this year when she was denied tenure at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. The school later reversed their decision, but Hannah-Jones snubbed them anyways. She told CBS This Morning yesterday, yeah, that's not confusing, that instead she'll take a teaching job at Howard University. Hannah-Jones developed the controversial 1691 project for the New York Times. Do you know what that is? Come on, do you know what the 1691 project is? Come on, somebody needs to tell me because I sure don't know exactly what it is. Come on.
More sarcasm than Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a 23-year-old hiker has been missing since July the 1st when she was last seen embarking on the trail in Montana West Fork Trailhead. Authorities are beginning the search and are asking for any leads. So if you know anything, please be on the lookout or please inform the authorities in Montana. The likely incoming district attorney for Manhattan has some radical ideas for prosecuting crime there by not processing crime there. What? Yeah, you heard me correctly as I said it the first time around. The New York Post reports that Alvin Bragg agenda includes the refusal to prosecute the following violations: resisting arrest, trespassing, fare evasion, marijuana possession, driving with a suspended license, and any traffic violation. If you're stopped for any of those, well, rest easy. Non-incarceration is the outcome of every case except with charges of homicidal or the death of a victim. A Class B violent felony in which a deadly weapon causes serious physical injury, or felony sex offenses, his campaign plan says. So what do you think about this as you hear this? It becomes very interesting. Let's not lie. It becomes very interesting on how that outcome's going to work. So what comes to mind the moment that you hear this? Some people are not going to love that. Some people might not, but I don't know where you're going to hang out inside of that particular camp for sure. So there's something to think about as we are talking. Let's continue. The Georgia man shot on the golf course over the weekend is believed to have stumbled on another crime in progress. Officials say that he likely came upon the murderer, who already had the two bodies in the back of his truck, before getting shot himself. No suspect or motive have been identified, but officials say that they're pursuing active leads. So hold on. Didn't you just say less than a moment ago that it was probably because he came upon something that was already taking place? That sounds like motive enough to me, so that's something to think about. Let's continue talking. Across the country, at least 233 people died and another 618 people were injured from gun violence in more than 500 incidents. Believe it or not, that was down from last year by 26%. 26%. Now, keep in mind of this. That's 26% down in lockdown. So what do you think? Some things to think about for sure as we do mention them as we're coming across. Anyway, shot Carrie Richardson will not compete in the 4x100 meter relay in Tokyo next month, even though her suspension for marijuana use will expire before then. Team USA track team left her off the official roster and said that in a statement that they are sympathetic to the circumstance, but after all, rules are... Hold on, let's try that. After all, rules are rules! It would be detrimental to the integrity of the U.S. Olympic team trials for the track and field if the USATF amended the policies following the competition only weeks before the Olympic Games, the organization said in a statement. So, if you're not aware, this is the girl that actually did pop for a marijuana test, or a drug test, and it showed that she had marijuana inside of her system. So, they are saying that she is unable to actually run in the race. Now, keep in mind that she was in a state that recreational marijuana is legal. So what do you think? Do you think that it justifies it? I mean, you could go any direction with this. I mean, we could sit here and talk and go, well, you could look at it that way or you could look at it this way. So what do you think when it comes to mine? Here's the gim. We talk about this, and then we kind of go, well, I look at it this way, or I look at it that way. So I look at it kind of a weird thing, because you can look at it from the standpoint, let's throw in the Department of Transportation into this. So if I'm in a state where marijuana is legal, cool. Recreational marijuana, I do whatever I want to do. But if I know that I have a Department of Transportation or a class or a CDL, commercial driver's license, well, I know that even though it's legal in the state that I'm in, I am unable to actually participate in it. Now, I know that because that's part of my job. That's why I have the CDL. So I know that I cannot participate if that's something that I'm interested in because of that. So there's that kind of weird circumstance that comes into it. Because you can say pro, con, whatever, but you still know at the end of the day that part of your requirements cause this. Is it justified? Now, keep in mind that a commercial driver's license is putting people's lives at risk if I'm driving under the influence or have it inside of my system. Not so much if I'm running. Maybe. Something to think about. So, I don't know. What's your opinion? Because I know that my opinion might get me into some trouble, depending.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world. I mean, it's interesting. I think that we could probably sit here and talk about marijuana all day if you wanted to do that thing. That's for sure. But I don't know. It becomes such a weird thing as we talk about this. It becomes such a weird thing as we look around and all that kind of fun stuff. So I don't know. I'll leave it at that, opposed to causing more controversy about anything else. So let's talk about it. Saudi Arabia and the UAE can't come to terms over production levels of oil, which analysts say could drive up the price towards $4 a gallon before taxes. No word yet if talks will resume. So I wonder how this is going to go in that particular regards, because, it's kind of funny because I tend to hang out with a whole bunch of interesting people on who they're going to blame on this one, on who they're going to say, hey, this is exactly what's going on. I don't understand exactly what's happening. I don't understand what exactly I'm going to do next. It's always interesting in that particular faction. Because it's like, oh, so now it's at $4. Is this the government's fault? I don't know. Doesn't sound like it's the government's fault. That's for sure. But who knows?
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, let's continue talking for sure about some other things going on. An analyst in the Journal of American Medical Association shows that Medicare spent $2.6 billion with a B more on prescription drugs than the same medicine would have cost them to purchase through a Costco pharmacy. That even includes people paying the drugs without any healthcare insurance or health insurance. These low out-of-pocket costs mask the fact that the Medicare overpaid 43.2% of prescription for the most common generic medicine last year, shows the study. Well, that definitely sounds like we have an issue. Definitely sounds like we have an issue when it comes to the med world in regards of pricing. I'm just saying. Think about it for a moment, because it sure as shit sounds like that. So some things to think about. Anyways, let's continue talking. You'll never poop in peace again. What? An Australian man says that he sat down for a number 2 when he felt a pinch on his genitals. That's when he found a 5-foot albino python nipping at his nads. Wow, that's terrible. Officials believe that he slithered through the pipes, but this type of snake isn't poisonous, fortunately. The snake was eventually returned to a neighbor who houses 11 snakes and a gecko. He is being investigated for negligent bodily harm. Oh, think about that for a moment. So you're sitting there taking care of some biz, And all of a sudden, snip, what's looking out and going on down there?
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh my, I'm probably not going to get over that story before we move on to the next story. So let's continue talking real quick about some other things. This is the main story. So I have a question for you. Now, if you're older demo, if you're older gen, you might be familiar with this. But if you used to listen to terrestrial radio, sorry about that. But if you used to listen to terrestrial radio, there was this little popular thing that they used to have back in the day that was known as Swap Shop. And what Swap Shop consisted of was somebody would call in and they would say something that they wanting to sell or wanting to swap. So what does that mean? So meaning that, okay, I have this glorious remote control that I would like to sell to you. If you're interested, I've had it since blah, 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 and I want $20 for it, or I am willing to trade for something else. That's Swap Shop. And then somebody else would call in and go, hey, you remember Billy Joe that called in a few moments ago, wanted to know about that remote that he was selling? I want to see if it's still available. If it's still available, I'd like it. I will give him $19 for it. I give him $19 for that remote. You know, that kind of thing. So it's interesting because Swap Shop was a very big thing on the AM radio dial. Yeah, that's that old thing. That old thing that you do dials with. And a lot of people would call in. It was kind of an older demographic. I'll tell you, I mostly listened to it when I hung out with my grandparents. I should tell you how long ago. All of my grandparents have been dead for a long period of time. So that's been quite a while. But with that being said, it's interesting on how we go about in our careers, in our lives, and we essentially are doing a level of Swap Shop. We are doing a level of things that we're willing to change for. Think about this for a moment. Think about a story where you have sat with someone and let's talk about an incident that they have lived through. And you share or you get to hear that story from them. You get to hear the things that are going on there. At what point do you turn around and start using that story? At what point do you start moving forward and say, hey, cool, this is part of what I'm going to start using? Like I tell people all the time, I will give you credit the first time for the story, but from that point on, I'm going to use it as my own. Now, keep in mind, with that being said, it's a vice versa scenario where they will take your story as well and start using it. And it's interesting on how we will go through life doing these paradigm shifts. It is interesting on how we'll do these swaps with people. Because that's the thing. If we're not learning and improving, what exactly are we doing? Now, listen, the Swap Shop thing was a kind of a great thing because we were selling ideologies, or we were selling items, or we were swapping items. And it's interesting as we go through our career paths that the exact same thing is taking place. Listen, because think about this real quick. For a degree, you were doing the exact same thing. You swapped your money for knowledge. For a certification, you swapped your money for a piece of paper. Oh, sorry, there was knowledge there too. But people do this all the time. So why is it that we're okay with consistently swapping our belief systems when it comes to certain things? Why is it okay that we're able to do this? But we will always have these pillars that we will use. We'll still have our core basic foundation of stuff where we go, well, no, these are my strong beliefs and that will not change. But there's other aspects that we won't touch. It's interesting on how that works. When you sit back for a moment and think about the big picture of things, Why is it okay for us to swap stories and keep them? But when you put it into an environment where it's kind of a selling technique, it becomes a different aspect. But think about that. Some people go to church on Sundays, some people go to synagogues, and they're getting messages of life stories that they're trying to adapt into their life, on how they can apply them into their life. People will go to conferences and speeches to gain knowledge from the presenters. Some people just go for the goodie bags too, but that's okay. But they'll go there just to acquire knowledge or even network. Why is the swap always such a big portion of what's going on? Think about it. Think about old school style when people used to swap business cards all the time. I mean, now we have the tap, if you may say so, on your phone where you're tapping cards and changing things out that way. But why is it okay now, as we take a look at this old-fashioned radio portion and move forward with it? Like, why do you and I hang out all the time? Why do we swap information? You give me info, I bring it out and show it to what you want me to do. Think about the levels of things that you have swapped throughout your life. That be it relationships, that be it friendship, that's being adding, taking away, selling. Okay, you never probably sold a friendship. But think about it. There are people that are out there that are connectors. Their business model is, I can actually put you in front of decision makers if you decide to buy into my service. I will tell you, I have a very close acquaintance that paid $50,000. Yes, that's 50. I probably shouldn't say that. 50 in regards of being put in front of decision makers for multi-billion-dollar companies. This way, he could generate more business. So he was willing to swap his cash for something that was not guaranteed. Hey, I'm not picking on the guy. If you have the money to do it, do it. But it's interesting on how that works. It's interesting on how these aspects of life will change and people will do things out of the ordinary to get further. They will swap something that they see of value for themselves for something that they might see more valuable. It's interesting when you take the overall level of the swap shop and go, that's something that we're still willing to do, even in this day and age. What's the point? Do you see a value added? And are you at the point where you're constantly looking for something new to swap for? Because here's the thing. I have said this to myself for years, where I go, if I'm not constantly learning, I'm becoming stagnant. I'm becoming one of those people that, hey, I think I have plateaued. Like, I think it's kind of funny. I still remember in the days when I used to do mixed martial arts all the time, there was a guy that got his black belt. A black belt. One of the highest levels that you can normally get into martial arts. And he came in and he quit. And the reason for him quitting was because he said, I have reached the highest level that I will ever be able to reach. So he was under the impression that he already knew everything. That's not the case. You're constantly learning. So does the swap shop bring value? Absolutely. Don't ever become stagnant. Don't ever stop swapping knowledge. Even though that there's a cost associated to it, it's something that will bring value to you and value to other people. Now, the thing that becomes the weird part is you have to determine which is the part that brings the value. If it's the portion of the swap where you're gaining the information that you want or whatever that X is, I mean, keep in mind, you swap things all the time. You invest time to get money. I invest time to get money. But it's interesting when you put the whole dynamic together of how that swap shop works. Just really something to think about when you put it into that angle. But Then again, what the hell do I know? Just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky. Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
So I interrupt this very important show to discuss this important matter with you. And here's what I want to share. You know that for years I have been telling you on this show that I don't sleep too great. Well, over the last few months, I've actually acquired a Helix Sleep mattress. And it has changed the way that I sleep entirely. Listen, I have to tell you, for years, I have struggled day in and day out, or night in and night out, on how I sleep. But ever since I went to Helix Sleep and took the sleep quiz, it has changed my way of sleeping. All you need to do to be able to encounter this luxury in your home, just go to helixsleep.com/safety. That's helixsleep.com/safety. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you with a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Helix Sleep is offering up to $200 off of all orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/safety. That's helixsleep.com/safety for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows. So for years, I have been telling you how I sleep so miserably at night, but that has all changed. Emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Shed real blood, I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's
Okay, this is Eyes Closed by Norman Sand. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So if you want to take a download to it, you can do that. The song's called Eyes Closed. Thanks for Norman Sand for allowing us to play this on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah. You know how it goes. We have to do all these license agreements. If not, we can't play them. Mi gente necesita Jesús. Jesús. There you go. So anyways, that's what's going on. It is 41 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely showery morning here coming from the Orlando, Florida studios. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world of the news. A new online calculator lets users predict that when they're going to die. The risk evaluation for support, prediction for elder life, and community tool respect was put together by scientists using data from 500,000 older adults that had been given 5 years or less to live. They were surveyed about the various health conditions and were tracked between 2013 and 2017 to try to understand the needs of the healthcare and the plans of the elderly. The researchers say that they hope that they can that the calculator will improve the healthcare services in the future. Users answer a few simple questions, including the long-term health problems, including dementia, stroke, and hypertension. Keep in mind that although the calculators are specifically for people likely to die within the next 5 years, who are currently using the needs of home care, the calculators originated from the University of Ottawa, say that it is a useful tool for adult child that plan when they want to take a leave of absence from work with their parents or want to decide when it was the last family vacation together. For more information, you can go to respect.projectbiglife.ca. That's respect.projectlife.ca. So, okay, so if you would like to know more of when they can expect to have access to Grandpa's new truck, that's something to look at too. I tried it on Sunday morning when I felt that I was going to die by noon, so that seems to work there. But here's the fun part. Some people are going to look at that and go, well, hold on. Why in the hell would... Hold on. Why would I look at that thing? Why would I look at that? It's going to predict the tax on when I'm going to die. It's funny on how we'll take a look at that and go, well, how the hell is that thing going to work? But we can take the pyramid and say, well, the pyramid works. 329 and 1, that's okay. Or we'll buy software that will predict when the next thing will occur, and that's perfectly fine. Oh, here's the next event that we'll have based on data. Well, why can't this thing tell you? I mean, isn't it kind of the same thing? It's just going to predict when the person's going to die. I mean, it's telling you within the next 5 years, so why is it any different? I mean, I'm just asking the question. Don't get mad at me.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, a new study has found that many of us believe that playing video games will help them reach the next level in their careers. Nearly half of 2,000 Americans surveyed crediting many of their success in life to gaming. 42% said that they have learned more skills through video games than in school. But how do video games mentally help someone with their career? 68% admit that getting competitive when playing video games, and almost 2/3 consider their competitiveness an advance when it comes to pushing through difficult situations. Another 6 in 10 believe that they've gained keener creative eye and coordination, while others have learned time management skills, 50%. Well, I have to admit, gaming did teach me the important 2021 career skills of sitting at home all day in front of a screen in front of your underwear. That would be definitely something that it did teach me. But here's the thing, and all joking aside here, I believe that some video games can help you. I mean, I'm not going to say go play, some of the violent ones. That will help you with the keen of what you're trying to learn inside of the work business. But there are certain things that it can help you with. I mean, anybody who says otherwise probably doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, but that's okay. But think about it. Think about the competitiveness of video games. and how they could be helpful when it comes to certain things. If they weren't, why would people consider doing virtual reality when it comes to safety assessments? Think about that.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, 60% of us believe that it's only a matter of time before the Earth is the target of alien invasion. Fortunately, if things turn out like the movie's Independence Day, 80% say that they have a plan on how to deal with any space invaders. The problems, many of those plans involve hiding under the bed or simply bursting into a sheer panic. The poll conducted by One Poll is in the honor of the World UFO Day on July the 2nd found that other folks say that alien invasion plans include calling their parents for help and stocking up on toilet paper. Okay, maybe that last part's not true. Others say that they'll flee the countryside and simply make tea and welcome their alien overlords. 63% of 2,000 UK residents polled said they would welcome the aliens if they saw them on land. 1 in 20 people claim that they've already seen the extraterrestrials. Sure, let me take them over. It's not only that only could screw up the planet worse than they already have. I mean, that's something to think about. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's time to start considering some underground bunkers. No, seriously. No, I don't know. I mean, what would you do if there was an alien invasion? Would you move out of the big city and go into a smaller sector? And would you be looking for a house with bunkers? I know there's a really good house that I found. Should I name where? But I found a house that had a pretty awesome bunker. I would never want to leave ever again, to be quite honest with you. Anyways, before I get in too much trouble, it might be time to bring in my good old friend and let him talk a little bit.
I'm Jeff Fire. Most people don't know that most of the billions of dollars that I've won in the last 42 years since becoming a trial lawyer didn't go to me. It went to the thousands of clients that hired me to be their warrior. That's my passion. That's what drives me. And nobody does it better because I was born for this.
Okay, so there you go. That's Jeffrey Feiger with Feiger Law. You can call 1-800-A-WINNER. That's 1-800-A-WINNER for more information if you need to contact them. So let me bring in my colleague, my friend, my partner in crime, Johnny Smalls, and let's talk about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Joe. Richard Paul Evans said, "The truest indication of gratitude is to return what you are grateful for." I love this quote. If you reap what you sow, then you're going to want to make sure you sow good things, right? Some people talk about the power of positive thinking. Well, how about the power of being nice? If you want to succeed in just about anything, make yourself the kind of person people want to work with. You can do this by being nice first and foremost, but also by being honest and by helping people. It will amaze you how quickly this comes back in a very big way. And here's the good news. Even if it doesn't come back, you'll still be a better person for doing it. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, so if you want to hear from more about John Smalls, you can hang out with him on RadioBig.fm in the afternoons in the Eastern Standard Time between 2 and 6 p.m. Him and his wife do the John and Heidi Show. A little bit of everything on that one, that's for sure, as they do hang out and do the things that they do together. Anyways, it is 49 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get into some more stuff to talk about. On some unfortunate news, don't know if you heard about this, but the director that helmed the blockbusters like Superman, Lethal Weapon, and The Goonies, his production company made the announcement but did not specify when he did pass or how, but Richard Donner has died. He was 91 at the time of his passing. Yeah, a lot of movies from his that we did get to watch. Some things. Oh, we get older and I just always like, how can this happen? But I guess that's just part of it. Anyways, let's talk about the lottery. No winner for last week's Powerball. Tonight's drawing will be for $113 million or listen to me, $80 million lump sum. So take your pick on what you want if you do win. So there you go. Some things to think about. Now that will be a radio big one. Let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of this world real quick. Let's talk about things that happened back on this date. So let's take a look. Back in 2019, the U.S. women's team brings home its second consecutive and record-breaking fourth overall World Cup win. Only Germany has won more than one title. The win sparked a nationwide debate over gender pay gap. Lawsuits brought to light that women national teams average less per game between 2015 and 2019 and their male counterparts. But it's worth noting that women's team was more successful. So that was back in 2019. Let's talk about some birthdays for today. Cody Lee turns 25. Allie Brooke, 28. Alesso, 30. Jack Whitehall, 33. Kirsten Vagnus, 49. Cree Summer, 52. Amy Carlson, 53. Jim Gaffin, 55. Shelley Duvall, 72. You ready for this one? Ringo Starr. Yeah, Ringo Starr, from that little band, the Beatles thing. Yeah, he turns 81 today, just in case you wanted to know. That's what's going on inside of the world of the birthdays. If you're looking for a reason to celebrate today, I got a few of those that you can do. National Dive Bar Day. National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. National Strawberry Sundae Day. National Macaroni Day. National Chocolate Day. And Global Forgiveness Day. Yeah. You should probably forgive someone who was an asshole to you at some point today, if you want to do that. That's a thing for you, of course. So let's talk a little bit more about some other things going on inside of the world. Should we talk about the dirt? Should we talk the dirt on dirt? I think we should. There is still some more than enough dirt and germs out there to keep the immune system strong, according to scientists. A new paper of the University College, that's not confusing, London, University College London researchers say that the rise of allergies is not as many people believe due to the environmental being too clean. They say that we still come into contact with many microorganisms that are useful for regulating our immune system, and that hand washing and clean surfaces ensure that we are less likely to meet the ones that cause disease. The paper says that while exposure of microorganisms in early life is essential for the education of the immune metabolic systems, we in modern society are not too clean for our own good. We are not too clean for our own good. Trust me, my place is not too clean for our own good at all. And I'm talking about my side, just saying. Fine, but please explain then why my kids are apparently allergic to all vegetables. Somebody needs to explain that one to me, because I still do not know. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know, because it is Wednesday. In 2018, researchers at the New York Stony Brook University School of Medicine, wow, that's a short name, claimed that they were able to determine that humans are aware when they are dead. What? It is due to some window into the afterlife or supernatural elements. They found that the brain is still active for a time after the organs and the heart stop functioning. The death of brain cells take hours to close out the death process in the human body, according to the researchers. In that period, people apparently become aware that they are dying. Wow, that sounds terrible. No, seriously, that sounds terrible. I don't think I want to know that. Do you want to know that? I mean, you might want to know when I'm dying. I mean, I'm just saying in general. Let's talk about some whack facts real quick, just in case. Turkeys do not have belly buttons. Something to know. Elvis Presley didn't write any of his songs. None of the Beatles could read music. The average car has 30,000 parts. The town of Ding Dong, Texas is located in Bell County. That's something. Alexander Graham Bell refused to have a phone in his study because the ringing drove him nuts. So there you go. Some things to think about. Anyways, let's talk about some BS real quick before I get you out of here. Shark Week kicks off Sunday. All I know about Shark Week is that they cry at the end of Jaws and laugh at the end of Titanic. So something to think about. I just read that that men are 3 to 4 times more likely to drive drunk than women. True, at least until Lindsay Lohan falls off the wagon again. I just read that on average, people fall in love 7 times before marriage. Yeah, but that was before the selfie. Fact, in 2009, Nigerian police arrested a goat on suspicion to have attempted armed robbery. You got to be kidding. Fact of the day, hitting snooze on the alarm can make you more tired than if you have gotten up right away, but trying to explain this to my kids is more tiring than getting up or hitting the snooze button again. So some things to think about. Anyways, let's talk about some trivia real quick. Each of the classic Rubik's Cube 6 faces is covered on how many stickers? 9, 12, 16, or 17? The correct answer is 9. The Nintendo GameCube was replaced by which video game console in 2006? The Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch, or ColecoVision? The correct answer? Nintendo Wii. Which Elton John song did U.S. President Donald Trump use to nickname North Korean leader Kim Jong-un? Tiny Dancer, Honky Cat, Rocket Man, or Island Girl? The correct answer? Rocket Man. So there you go. Some things to think about for sure. Anyways, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide. Know that you're not alone. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. For more information, go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK, or text the word TALK to 741-741. I will tell you, if you're struggling with any of it or know someone who is, I would recommend strongly doing one of the above. Anyways, let me give you some other things real quick before we get you out of here this lovely morning. If you want to come and hang out with me, I will be on radiobig.fm shortly right after this show. Or if you want to stay out and hang out and do some more of the safety stuff, you can hang out still here on safetyfm.com. So if I can give you a random joke for the day, here you go. It was love at first sight. Then I took a second look. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What food that you're never eaten before would you like to try? I don't know. Think about it. If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question: in a survey, 50% of people said a sign of true love is known this about your partner. What is it? Their phone, email, and Facebook passwords. Woo! Do you know that about your loved ones? Oh, is it a sign of true love? And I'm going to tell you something. If the password for all three is the exact same one, they are definitely